Look at this, I'm here with Javier Vazquez again. We've been doing a little training, and I thought it'd be really fun to show some of this stuff on camera because it's a game changer, I think. Starting with how you think about control, points of control. I've always divided the body into major control, the shoulder line, the hip line, minor points of control, wrists, ankles, that sort of thing. But you have maybe a little different perspective on control. I am thrilled to announce the launch of theartofskill.com. It's an instructional platform where you're going to be able to learn from the best instructors in the world, not just in jiu-jitsu, but in complementary disciplines. We have a bunch of great projects that we're developing, but here's our first one.
Yeah, so I look at control from the core out. So where are my control points? The shoulders, the hips, the floating ribs. Those are the 6 core points of control. Now, when and where would I use these core points? To prevent the person from turning. I think that preventing the person from being able to turn is incredibly powerful. And it's very confusing for the guy on the bottom because most people don't really fight that way. Most people engage, and rather than rotating the opponent, they engage in the current angles, and it benefits the guy on the bottom. So whenever a guy is flat, in order for him to escape, there's 2 things that have to happen. One, his knee has to come across my waist in order for him to face me. We'll deal with that in a minute. And 2, he's got to be able to turn to shrimp his hip in order for the knee to come in. So those are the 2 things. So you can stop the knee from coming in by stopping the guy from turning. So if you want to turn, one position that I'll use is I'll put my hand on the hip and it fits just like a glove. You feel that? Yeah. So as the guy turns into you, it's very strong for me to stop him from turning. The shoulder is another. I can use my chest, I can use my hand. The inside of the elbow is another. So if he's trying to turn into me, he can't turn in because I'm holding his elbow, and then the inner knee. If he's turning into me, he can't turn into me. That's like level 1. Level 2 is when you go in combination. So I won't just block the hip, but I'll lift up the shoulder. So by pushing the hip and lifting the shoulder, if he's trying to face me, it makes it very hard for him to face me. I can also block the far side shoulder and near side knee, so that's a combination. So if he tries to push into me, he can't do it. If he wants to turn away, I can staple his hand. Go staple your hand. I can use the hand to staple. I can also use my legs to staple, right? So if he wants to turn away, he's not going to be able to turn away like this. So you have the hips, the knee, the hand. Now, when you start grabbing into the feet, it becomes a little bit more complex because you're adding a joint which adds a little bit of mobility. Yeah. So the knee is pretty easy for me to roll you away. Right. The foot is a little bit harder. So if you're dealing with the foot, you got to go towards the shoulder. So if you go to face me. See what I'm saying? So it's a slight, you got to kind of go. The knee, I can go straight across.
Yeah.
Right? But the foot, though, and he could try to kick over if he wants. But it's such a good control, you know what I mean? So for me, the control is very easy. It's effortless for me. It's very simple. But for the guy on the bottom, the experience that he's having on the bottom is very different. He just knows that he can't turn. He just knows that every time he goes to turn, it takes a lot of effort. Yeah. So what it does after a while is kind of starts to discourage you from making these big movements because you don't want to make that big movement and fail. Because then it starts having a psychological effect on you, like, man, I don't even want to do this. It's too much energy. So what I've realized by being able to prevent an opponent from turning, the exchanges of energy are vastly in my favor. So when you start to add up all these little energy exchanges, it starts to make a big difference over a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. And I'm able to, side mount to me is a fatiguing mechanism. I'm able to fatigue people from side mount, and the primary source of control is this turn prevention strategy.
So what would you recommend to beginners or, blue belts, white belts, blue belts, or, whoever, who aren't really thinking in terms of these control points? Where's a good place to start for them?
From side mount, the inside knee is everything. So you have to be able to block that knee. So I know that by being here, if the knee tries to, see, do you feel like you have to move your hip? Right? So I'm going to put my hand here so you can't move your hip. So if you just try to move your knee, it's locked.
Yeah.
Right? When you start to feel the knee come through, go, 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 I'm already there. I'm catching it already here. And
so you're not looking to get upper body, get that clinch initially. You're just camped out kind of here.
You don't need to. That's what I realized, because that's the game. The game is to smash the guy.
Yeah.
Why? So that you're tight, so that you're heavy, so that they can feel your weight, so they can feel your pressure. It's not just about the weight. It's about generating tension. It's about you working. So when I start to do this, don't let me turn you. Are you working?
Yes.
A little bit or a lot?
Well, I mean, I'm trying to...
So I'm achieving the same goal, but I'm not using weight to make it happen. I'm using the knee, preventing the knee from going that way. So this engages your abs, it engages your hip, it engages your thigh, it engages the central point, everything in your body and your core. When I do this and you want to go that way, you're working. So there's an illusion that you have to be here.
Right.
I can do it from here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look at the difference in energy.
Yeah.
I think it's massive. I think it's massive.
I think that it taps into the essence of jiu-jitsu better, which is using leverage, not, this overwhelming power that we tend to see.
I think that we haven't been taught the mechanics. I think that people use moves to stop things rather than mechanics. Look at the body as a set of targets: the wrist, the elbow, the shoulder, floating rib, the hip, the knee, and the top. When you start looking at things as targets, and you start looking at things from chest to chest and chest to back, where do I want to go? So my whole game is designed to get you to turn your back. Why? Because it's easier to fight you then.
Yeah.
You can't see the punches if I decide to punch. It's easier to trap your arm.
Yeah.
It's easier to get finished with a solid choke. So my whole game is like, why am I even fighting people here? Why do I need to engage in a face-to-face battle? I want to promote a chest-to-back battle. So everything I do when I'm facing is to make you feel like turning away is the right thing to do.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you call it? Forced behavior or
common core,
common
goal cooperation.
Common CGC. Common goal cooperation. This stuff's brilliant, and we're going to be putting out a course, and I'm excited.
You can feel it, right?
I can feel it. I can feel it.
Yeah,
Thank you, Javier.
Thank you. Yeah.
It's always good to see you.
Thank you so much.
You're the man.